Hello, today we're going to install pfSense on ESXi Host version 6.7. I'm going to log in on my ESXi Host version 6.7 and I'm going to show you the steps that you need to take before you can actually install the pfSense. The first thing I need to do is go to the networking on the physical NIC, which is the physical network interface card. Here I have four network interface card, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Currently I'm using just two of them out of all the four. On the virtual switch, you need to create virtual switch. I have two virtual switches. I'm using one for my trunk link and one for my WAN link. My virtual switch 0 is the one I'm using for my trunk link. If you click on it, you will see the details that I have. I'm going to show you how to create a virtual switch. All you need to do is click add and then type the switch name and then select the uplink you want to use. Because I've already used the 2, 0 and 1, I only have 2 and 3 left of all the 4 network interface card I have available on my ESXi host. So in this case I've already used the first one and the second one, so I have two other one left. The next thing you're going to do is to create port groups. You don't need to create as much port groups as this. All you need to do is create a port group for the trunk if you're going to be creating VLAN. So what I did is to create a V trunk. You can name it anything. You can name it trunk link, but you have to ensure that the VLAN ID to make the trunk link in ESXi host is 4095. You change this to 4095. That allows the traffic of multiple VLAN to go through your ESXi host LAN. So this is going to be my LAN, which is going to be a trunk link, so 4095. The next thing I'm going to do is to then create the internet, which is the WAN link. The one link in this case, notice I did not put any VLAN ID. I left it on 0. I just name it internet. You can name it anything you want it to. You can name it ISP, whatever you want it to be. Now, you have to make sure that it's on VLAN 0. So VLAN 0 is for your WAN, VLAN 4095 is for your LAN. So next thing I'm going to do is to go to storage and ensure that I have the ISO image for the pfSense. I'm going to show you how to get this ISO uploaded. What you need to do is to go to pfSense website, which is pfsense.org/download, and then select the architecture. In this case, I'm going to choose AMD64. I'm going to choose the ISO, and then you're going to click on download. Once this is downloaded, next thing you're going to do is to go back to your pfSense and click upload, and then select the location where you have where you have your pfSense ISO, which is this one, and then click on open. That will upload it into your pfSense. That's basically the steps to actually uploading an ISO image onto your data store on your ESXi host. Now the next thing we're going to do is to create a virtual machine. I'm going to create a virtual machine. Click on create virtual machine, click next. I'm going to name this pf dash sense. You can name it anything you want it to be. I'm going to leave it on ESXi host version 6.7. I'm going to change the guest host to Linux, and I'm going to change the version of the OS to CentOS version 8, 64-bit. I'm going to click next, and I'm also going to click next as well. This would take me to where I'm going to customize my setting. I'm going to use 2 CPU. I'm going to change this to 4 gig by saying 4096 MB. And I'm going to change this to a 20 gig drive. Next I'm going to do is to change my hard drive controller location from SCSI to SATA. That's the one I'm using. I'm not using a SCSI disk, I'm using a SATA disk. So I'm going to change this to SATA 0. And then I'm going to minimize that back. I'm going to change my network interface. The first network interface I have, you can choose internet as a first network interface. Then the next one I'm going to choose is going to be my LAN, which is going to be my V trunk. So my second one will be my LAN, which is my V trunk. So that's basically the two network interface card that I have. Then the next I'm going to do is to ensure that I put the ISO image of the pfSense that I've downloaded. So I'm going to click on that, click ISO, select the pfSense, click on select. That will add the pfSense to the list. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go to VM option. On VM option, click on boot option. On the boot option, ensure that this UEFI secure boot is on check for pfSense to boot. So ensure it's on check, click next and click finish. That is all you need to do to set up a virtual machine for pfSense. The next thing I'm going to do is to click on the virtual machine, click on power on, and that will power on my virtual machine, and then we're going to watch this boot. So this basically will just boot itself, taking you through all the necessary steps that you need to follow. So I'm going to wait for all this to boot. I'm going to pause the video and then I'm going to come back once it's ready. Now, once everything is fully booted, you're going to see this page. You're going to click accept, and I'm going to choose install, which is the first option, and then I'm going to choose the continue with the default key map. I'm going to also choose auto ZFS as my partitioning option, and then I'm going to install. Then I'm going to use the virtual disk type. I'm going to use Stripe. If you want to use RAID, you can actually select any of these options, but I'm going to leave it on the default. Now I'm going to make sure that I select this drive as my virtual disk by pressing the space bar and click on OK. It would ask you that you're going to destroy the content on your disk, of course, because this is a new installation. I'm going to say yes, so I have nothing to worry about. And that is actually going to start fetching all the drives and doing all the partitioning and getting the disk ready for the installation. I'm going to pause the video and come back once the step is done. Okay, now the installation is now finished. So it will ask you, do you want to go to open shell, or you just want to make any final modification. If you say yes, that will take you to shell. If you say no, that will just exits and then gives you the option to reboot. So we're just going to reboot without having to go to shell. I do not need to do anything in the shell page. Now this will reboot your pfSense, and once this is fully rebooted, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what next to do. Okay, the first thing you're going to see once your installation is ready is if you want to set up VLAN now. Most of the time, I like to set up my VLAN in the GUI interface. So for now, I'm going to say no, I'm not setting up the VLAN. Then it's going to ask you to enter the WAN interface. Remember, when we're setting up the pfSense, we chose two network adapters. One was the internet and one was the LAN, which was the V trunk. If you notice this, if I expand this, you can see the MAC address for my internet end with 1D, C61D. So if I come here, you will see here VMX0, which end with C6 1D, is actually my WAN interface. So here it says WAN. I'm going to say that interface is VMX0. That's my WAN. And then it says enter the LAN interface, which is my VMX1. That's my LAN interface. Now, the interface has been assigned this way. If you are sure that you've done everything right, you press yes to proceed. If not, you press no, and then it will actually allow you to do that again. So I'm going to say yes to proceed, and that would begin by configuring the interface. The next thing we're going to see is that it's going to automatically find to see if there is a DHCP in your network. If there's a DHCP in your network, automatically your WAN interface would obtain an IP address, and your LAN interface also may obtain an IP address. Of course, it should actually have a different IP address because you're going to need that IP to actually, as in to access the web browser. So definitely the as in the LAN IP will have an IP address. Your WAN IP may not if you do not have the WAN interface connected to something, or it's not connected to the network. But in my own case here, both my LAN and my WAN obtain an IP, as in got an IP, but note this: the WAN obtained an IP address using DHCP. My LAN did not, because my LAN has to be manually set. So my LAN actually was static and it has this IP address. I'm going to change the IP address on my LAN. I'm going to leave the IP address on my WAN the way it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to option 2 here by pressing 2, which will allow me to set interface IP address. And I'm going to choose the interface, which is actually my LAN interface, which is also 2. And then I'm going to type in the LAN IP version 4 address. In this case, I'm using 192.168.168.1 1.1, I'm going to change it to 192.168.100.254, and I'm going to press enter. And here is asking me to use a subnet mask using the CID annotation, which is going to be, I'm using a class C, I'm going to say 24. If I'm using a class B, I'm going to say 16. But in my case, I'm just using a class C, I'm just going to say 24. Now it tells me for one, enter for a WAN, enter the new LAN IP version 4 upstream. For a LAN, press enter. My LAN basically does not need to have a default gateway. So in my case here, I'm just going to press enter because my LAN does not need to have a default gateway IP address. My LAN also, I'm using an IP version 4, so there's no need for me to set up an IP version 6. I'm going to press enter to continue. And then it asks me, do you want to enable DHCP server on your LAN? Absolutely, I want to enable that. So that will allow my pfSense server to assign IP address automatically to devices that it finds on my network. So I'm going to set the IP address range by saying 192.168.100. I can begin with 100.10, and then I'm going to end with 192.168.100. This time I'm going to end with 100. It doesn't matter. You can go between 1 to 254, but I've already used 254 already as my LAN IP address. I cannot use it, so I can, if I'm assigning an IP address, I'm going to say 192.168.100.253. Will be the last one because I've already used 254. That is done in order not to allow any conflict. But in this case, I'm going to use between 10 to 100 as the automatic IP address, which is DHCP that my server will be giving out. Now it says, do you want to revert to HTTP as your web protocol? You could say no, you could say yes. If you say no, that will not revert. If you say yes, that will revert to HTTP. So I'm just going to use HTTP for now, so we're going to leave it on that. You can always change it on the web browser to HTTPS. Notice this says you can access your web using HTTP. Now it's very important to note that if you want to access your server over the network, your PC or your PC has to be, or if you're using a VM virtual machine, they have to be in the same subnet with the pfSense server. So in this case here, I will ensure that my PC network adapter is actually in the same subnet here. But for now, I'm just going to press enter to continue, and I'm ready to go. So next I'm going to do is to ensure that my network interface card is actually having the same IP subnets. So here I have a default IP I'm using, but I'm going to actually ensure that I want to show you how I added this. So to add this, what I'm going to do is to add by typing the IP address I want to use. I can change this IP to, let's say, 101 because I stopped my DHCP on 100, so I change it to 101. Then I'm going to set the default gateway to 254, so you can see there. So that's actually how to add multiple IP address on a single device. You don't need to do this in reality. All you just need to do is just change the IP address here, but because I'm actually recording on my PC, I want to ensure that I still have access to my ESXi Host, so I'm basically using this. So I'm going to just click on OK, click close, and then the next thing I'm going to do is to open the web browser, and I'm going to type in HTTP followed by the IP address of my of my pfSense. I'm sorry, pfSense. Now, once you do this, that will open the pfSense. So the default username is admin, default login is pfSense, and that will take you through the installation wizard, which is actually which could be found here. So you could actually, if you mistakenly close this, you could actually come back to it and do it again. So here I'm going to go through a nice step by clicking next. So you notice I'm on step 1 of 9. I'm going to click next. I'm going to give this a name. This name is whatever name you want it to be. So I can call it home router. It doesn't matter. Now I'm going to call this my home dot local. That's going to be my domain name. So every time I want to use a domain name, it's going to be my home.local. I'm going to use a Google DNS server as my primary DNS. You can choose to use something different, maybe what your ISP provide for you. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to change my time zone to my current time zone. I'm currently in Eastern time, so I'm just going to leave this, or I can actually use New York time as well. whatever time zone you have, whatever location you have different time zone here. So just go through it and look at whatever time zone it is that your country is in, and then choose the time zone, then go next. Here on my one, this is actually configuring my one interface. Remember that my one interface on my ESXi host is actually obtaining a DCP IP address. So in this case here, I do not need to do anything. So I'm just going to scroll down and just click on next. Now my LAN IP is actually this. You can change your LAN IP here, or you can choose not to change it. But if you change this LAN IP, remember it will affect your browser. You will need to change this again. So I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to click next. Now here, remember the default password was pfSense. Everybody knows the default password. It's advisable and it's recommended to change the default password to something much more secure and much more longer. So I'm just going to use something better than using pfSense. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reload to save the new changes. So that's going to reload. Notice I'm on step 8 of 8. If this is successful, it will take you to step 9 of 9. Now you can see that this wizard is completed. It's asking you, it's telling you that congratulations, pfSense is now configured, and then it gives you some of the useful links and everything that you need to remember. So in this case, I'm just going to click on finish, and that is how to install pfSense. In my next video, I'm going to go through some of the firewall setting, and then I'm going to go through creating VLANs. I'm going to go through how you can actually begin to see some of the devices that are connected to your network on your pfSense firewall.